March 6, 2015, DNA evidence clears Nevada woman who spent 30 years in prison. Prosecutors are dropping the charges before a retrial begins for Kathy Woods, who had been convicted in the 1976 stabbing of Michael Mitchells. Prosecutors are dropping the case against the Nevada woman who spent more than 30 years in prison for a 1976 murder before a judge ordered a new trial based on recently discovered DNA evidence, the district attorney said on Friday. Washoe County District Attorney Chris Hicks told reporters that there will be no retrial of Kathy Woods in the fatal stabbing of Michael Mitchell on the edge of campus of the University of Nevada in Reno. A judge threw out the conviction in September after new DNA evidence linked the Reno crime scene to an Oregon inmate who now faces murder charges in California in a string of killings about the same time. Washoe District Judge Patrick Flanagan ordered the 64-year-old Woods to appear at a retrial the 13th of July, but Hicks said during a news conference at the county court complex that he's filing a motion to dismiss the case. Woods' public defender and the FBI say DNA found on a cigarette butt at the Reno crime scene suggests the real killer is a former Oregon prison inmate recently charged in the deaths of 2 women among 5 in what became known as the Gypsy Hill murders near San Francisco. About the same time, Mitchell's throat was slashed. Woods, now 64, was convicted in 1980, and again 5 years later. The convictions were based largely on the confession she made in 1979 at the psychiatric hospital in Shreveport, Louisiana, where her mother committed her months earlier. Prosecutors at those trials argued that only Mitchell's killer could have known the information Wood provided to police in her confession. The Nevada Supreme Court overturned the initial conviction based partly on the trial judge's refusal to allow defense attorneys to present evidence that Woods could have learned everything she had told investigators from newspaper accounts. Nevertheless, Woods' lawyers were unable to persuade the jury in the second trial to disregard her earlier confession, public defender Maze Push said. It's very hard to argue that you shouldn't believe her, because why would someone confess to something like that, Puish said before Judge Patrick Flanagan granted her motion in September for a new trial. What we have now is significant evidence that shows that the jury should not have accepted everything that Kathy Woods said from the hospital in Shreveport at face value, she wrote in the motion for a new trial. Puish said Woods doesn't remember acknowledging the killing while hospitalized in 1979. I'm told it was a product of wanting to get a private room, Puish said told the Associated Press earlier. She was being told she wasn't sufficiently dangerous to qualify, and within a short period she was claiming that she had killed a woman in Reno. Rodney Halber, 66, was serving a 30-year sentence for attempted murder in Oregon when he was extradited to San Mateo County in California and charged in January with murders in the 1976 deaths of Paul Louise Baxter, 17, and Veronica Ronnie Ann Casco, 18, near Pacifica. Halbars had been arrested for the rape of a 33-year-old woman in Reno in November 1975, 3 months before Mitchell was killed not far away. He was released on bail, and barely a month later, the series of Gypsy Hill murders began. Casco's body was found January 8, 1976, and Baxter's on February 4th. Mitchell was killed on the 24th of February. Alright folks, leave your thoughts and comments below. Thanks.